Alrighty, hello everyone. Chief Meteorologist Jonathan Wint here on this Friday evening. Some update for Tropical Storm Ophelia, kind of gaining some strength here this afternoon. It was something that we've been watching all week long, wondering if it was going to become a tropical or subtropical system. The low pressure system was actually attached to a cold front, and that's kind of why it took so long for this to become more of a tropical characteristic kind of storm versus just a low pressure system or a synoptic system that we call it in meteorology. But we do have some new information coming in. Want to give a closer look right now to what's actually going on across the triad. We are dry right now here in the triad, but you can see as far east as Raleigh, we're starting to see some of those first outer bands moving in, and that's probably fairly light stuff that's falling in the Raleigh area right now. I expect Friday night football to be pretty good here in the triad. Shouldn't have any issues, but it is going to be pretty windy. As we take a look here at what's going on right now, you can see the spin just off the Carolina coast here. Heavy rain now making its way inland towards eastern North Carolina. And right now there's no tornado watches or warnings. That is some good news. There is a concern where we see that right quadrant, the right front quadrant, that's where we have the concern for tornadoes. But right now, this is just some showers. Now, we've already had some pretty gusty winds across the Carolinas today. Notice down towards Beaufort, 53 mile per hour wind gusts so far. Elsewhere, we've been into the 20s and 30s, and these wind gusts will continue to pick up as Ophelia kind of moves inland overnight through tomorrow. Even here in the triad, we've actually had some peak wind gusts into the 20s and 30s as well. And of course, we're sitting into the 20s right now, and we'll continue to see these peak wind gusts kind of popping into the 20s near 30 through the rest of this evening. And then it's overnight where we start to see some of the higher peak wind gusts coming in here for the triad. Temperatures outside this evening are sitting into the upper 60s and low 70s. It's nice and cool, cloudy, breezy. So if you have any evening plans in the triad, Friday night football, again, I think we're okay. The further east you go, the better chance of seeing some showers. Now, in the foothills, Friday night football is looking great. Shouldn't have any issues. We'll have cloudy skies out there, but staying dry. By 10, 11 o'clock in the triad, we could start to see some of those showers. And Ophelia, the latest information from the National Hurricane Center, is very close to hurricane status, strengthening with sustained winds of 70 miles per hour. So very close to a Category 1 hurricane, and it potentially could become a Category 1 storm. The latest update from the National Hurricane Center, this is the 5 o'clock update, still showing somewhere from Onslow County to Carteret County making landfall tomorrow morning by about, I would say, 6, 7, 8 o'clock into the morning. We will start to see some of those showers coming in, or the center of circulation coming inland right there along the Crystal Coast. As a very strong tropical storm or even a weak hurricane. So we're watching that closely, and you can kind of see the tropical storm warnings in effect. And there's actually just posted, it just came in from the National Hurricane Center, that there's actually some hurricane watches that have been issued, and I want to try to get that information to see portions of eastern North Carolina. Let me just see if I can populate where those watches and warnings are going to be at without having to go into my system here. So it looks like basically from the Wilmington area towards the Beaufort area, just south of the Outer Banks, is where that hurricane watch is in effect right now. But nonetheless, the effects are still pretty much going to be the same. We're just kind of upping the wind field there. As far as what to expect for the rest of this evening, you can see those outer bands making its way already closer towards the Raleigh area here this evening. And by about 10 o'clock, we could have a few isolated light showers here into the triad. heavy rain along the coast, strong gusty winds, and things will start to go downhill overnight. And this is 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. You can see the Triad area will have some showers around tomorrow morning, but the heaviest rain is obviously going to be east, along and east of I-95. And then it continues to make a little bit more of a westerly trend. The updates from the models today continue to show more of that westerly jog, kind of getting close right there along I-95. So throughout the day tomorrow, heavy rain will be likely into the eastern part of the state, but even here in the Triad, we're going to be dealing with cloudy skies, windy conditions, and the chance for on and off light showers. So it's going to make kind of for a very dreary, windy, chilly day. Those temperatures are going to be into the 60s tomorrow, and with the strong wind gust, it's going to feel more like the 50s. And some of those rain showers still could be lingering into the Triad tomorrow night. It wouldn't be anything heavy, but there could still be some passing showers from time to time or some mist and drizzle. And then by Sunday, we start to see the system pushing out and we'll start to kind of clear things out. Still going with about a half an inch of rain for the Triad. Further east, about 3/4 of an inch to an inch of rain. From the Triad areas points west, we're talking about maybe 1/4 of an inch or less. And again, the further west you go, the lighter rain chances that you're going to get. And into the eastern part of the state, 3 to 5 inches of rain will be likely, and there'll be isolated areas up to 6 inches there along the coast. Storm surge. I want to kind of go into this real quickly if you're watching me from eastern North Carolina. The storm surge potential, you can see the key here, 1 to 2 feet is areas in blue, and that's from Oak Island, the Wilmington area, close towards Sneads Ferry. Then once you get towards Swansboro, up to 3 feet of storm surge. Morehead City towards New Bern, the Neuse and Trent River, 3 to 4 feet storm surge possible in some of these areas. And then you can see getting a little bit closer towards Washington there. We're looking at up to 4, 5, maybe even 6 foot storm surge potential. But generally, we're looking at overall, I would say 2 to 4 foot storm surge along the coast. That's pretty significant, along with the flash flooding concern with all the heavy rain. As far as the wind potential goes, into the eastern Carolinas, along the coast, where we're seeing that center of circulation, 55 plus mile per hour wind gusts are going to be possible. There will be some areas, we've already seen it, 53 there in Beaufort. We could easily see 55 to 65 mile per hour wind gusts along the coast. The further west you go, the winds start to go down a little bit. But along and east of I-95, we're looking at 40 to 55 mile per hour wind gusts from the Raleigh area towards the Triad. Winston-Salem, High Point, Greensboro, points east. 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts are going to be possible tonight into tomorrow. And then from Winston-Salem points west into the mountains and the foothills, we're talking about 20 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts. And this one particular model kind of shows you that. This is the model that I was just showing you with the rain. Notice here at 6 in the morning Saturday, we're seeing some of peak wind gusts between 30 and 40 miles per hour here in the Triad. So that will be likely, and there will be some isolated power outages that we'll have to kind of worry about as well. And then as we head towards Saturday evening, it's still going to be a little bit breezy with peak wind gusts looking more likely between 15 and 25 miles per hour. So even into the evening hours, we're still looking at some gusty winds there. The good news is this is going to be a soggy, chilly, windy Saturday for us, but Sunday isn't looking too bad. It'll still be a little bit breezy on Sunday, and we'll still have some clouds around, but the rain chances really go down. Now, later next week into the Carolinas, we could get what we call a wedge setup with high pressure to the north, a little weak low pressure to the south. We kind of see overriding, some warm air trying to override some cooler air, and that creates condensation, precipitation, and so we'll have to watch for the potential for some rain showers from time to time. And there are some models just off the coast showing what's left of Ophelia kind of coming back southward. It looks like a very weak potential or weak system at that point but it definitely is a potential. So for the triad areas, we're going to be down into the mid and upper 50s overnight. It should stay mostly cloudy through the evening, and then rain kind of comes in overnight. It's going to be windy, sustained winds tonight, 15 to 25, but gusting 30 to 40 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, don't expect much of a warm up. 62 to about 64. On and off showers, otherwise cloudy skies, windy and chilly. Sustained winds 15 to 25, and then we'll have 25 to 35 mile per hour winds throughout the day tomorrow. Improving weather though by Sunday. We're going to be warming up into the mid and upper 70s, some areas across the Carolinas into the low 80s. And taking a look here at that 7-day forecast, we're going to see a 50-50 weekend. And then Monday, Tuesday's looking pretty good, but notice the temperatures down into the 60s and low 70s. Again, it's that wedge setup with clouds and perhaps from time to time a few showers or maybe some mist and drizzle at times. We're going to continue to update that forecast for you over the next few days. We've got plenty of time to watch that as things will likely change next week, but of course it's that time of the year where we're starting to see these fall fronts coming in, these high pressures building in from the north to wedge down some cooler air. And notice our average high now 79, so it looks like we're going to be below that going into next week. And of course tomorrow is the first day officially of astronomical fall. So I hope everyone stays safe this weekend. Of course, make sure that you're staying updated with the latest weather forecast, especially if you live in eastern North Carolina. The worst of the weather is going to be coming in overnight, and then for the eastern Carolinas into the triad, and we'll start to see things kind of tapering off as we head into our Sunday.